And now we present to you America's quintessential iconoclastic anomaly. Wow. In talk radio, your host, Joe Cristiano.
Folks, it's time for us to take back control of our government now before this bureaucratic, oversized, and self-serving federal government starves us of our property, our freedom, our rights, and our liberty. To do this, we must shed conventional thinking regarding our political structure. We need to be revolutionaries in thought, dissidents in action. Only after we recognize what our government is doing to our freedom and our Constitution will we start taking it back. And this program is just about that back. And welcome to the University of Logic, better known as Cristiano's Conservatory, correcting convoluted conversation. You're listening to Liberty Talk Radio. I'm your host, Joe Cristiano, and this is your antidote to popular talk radio. Well, today I'm going to join the fray. I'm going to join the whole movement of increasing the minimum wage, increasing employee salaries. I have caved in, I have to admit.
Well, good for you, Joe. I mean, it's about doggone time, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure did. It's
I
been
mean,
some time,
you've been talking about it.
I know. So,
good.
I've decided that I have this echo in my ear.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. I wonder if the
is it your
radio
cold?
was getting
It's called a head cold, Joe. It's called a head cold.
Yeah. So, how are you going to join the fray? That's my question.
Well,
I mean,
I've decided, all my employees are going to get paid the same amount. They're all getting increased to $1 a day.
$1 a day.
That's right, $1 a day. That's
wow.
How do you
Joe,
pay those poor folks now?
Yeah, I mean, good night. I mean, $1 a day, how can they live on that?
Well, they're zombies, that's why.
Oh. That's zombies. Zombies? Really?
Yeah, there's a zombie. Actually, the Internal Revenue Code has a zombie exemption. It's on page 14. Look it up, 14,734, paragraph L, 3I, or something like that. And it says that if you hire a zombie, you don't have to pay him more than $100 a day. So I'm going
$1 a day
right
zombies.
To the limit.
Man, gosh, how are you going to be able to control expenses that way? I mean, $1 a day.
Well,
huh?
we'll have to make do with that. You see, but at times, I don't have $1, so I give him like a peso, or a yen.
Mercy. Oh, man, that's awful, Joe.
I mean,
come
difference.
on now.
Well, they don't know. They don't know. They're zombies.
They don't, I guess. Well, I was going to say $1 a day. How many zombies do you have?
About eight zombies.
8 zombies under your employ, huh?
Right,
wow.
yeah.
And benefits come with that, or?
Oh, no, they don't need benefits.
They don't need benefits.
They sleep in the street,
I think he's serious. Huh?
Well, listen, when you hire people from PhDs from the clown college, that's what you get. You get zombies, let me tell you, since we're on the minimum wage bit, I want to, I like to talk about subjects. You ever notice talk show hosts, what they do is they'll pick a subject and then, God forbid, they pick up that subject again. They may never have completed their thought. They haven't come to a conclusion. It's still an open issue, but now they have to go, excuse me, folks, I have a terrible cold today. I shouldn't even be here today. But then they go into another issue. It was like, well, you've talked about that. Now we need to move on. I don't want to move on. If I have to talk about this stupid subject until the day we get rid of it, I'll do that. And if people listen, that's just fine. Turn the radio off. Listen to Gaga Land or something.
Yeah.
But no, really, seriously, when you think of the minimum wage, let's break this. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to pull a Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff breaks things down to very, very basic Dick and Jane pieces, right?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Right, yeah, keep it right. You have whenever the a government official or someone who's running for office talks about the minimum wage, they conjure up the thought that everybody who is working for a large corporation with a few people making millions of dollars and everyone else making $7.25 an hour. I mean, that's the concept that they try to pin. When in fact, what the truth is that most of the people who are working today are working for very small companies. Now, think about that. if it's a small company, someone had to start it. I mean, it wasn't the Big Bang Theory here, you know? Someone had to start that company. In other words, someone took the risk, quit their regular job, maybe making good money, quit their job, took the risk, took all their money, put it in equipment, in a building, renting, in advertising, and all the things, working capital that's needed to start. Now, I've done this several times. I know the score. It is painful. Right? And when people ask me, they say, Joe, you've done this before, and they tell me about their working capital requirements, and they give it to me, I say, fine, now take that and triple it. You know?
I bet, yeah.
No. And then after you triple it, I want you to double it again, and I can guarantee you'll be out of money.
Wow.
No, and I mean that, because that's how brutal it can be.
I'm sure.
So here you have a person who is taking the risk of losing everything to start a business. Now, when they start a business, they can't usually do it on their own. Sometimes they can start it on their own, but once they start operating, they have to hire people. Once they hire people, then the government comes in and says, you have to pay them $7.25 an hour, right? Now, first of all, when you think about just that timeline that I just gave you, that's illogical. If someone is just taking the risk, has put everything in a business, and then needs someone to help and says, hey, I have a new business. Do you want to come in and work with me to build this business? The person says, yes. And the government comes in, you got to pay $7.25 an hour. Now, that's not a lot of money. I'll admit that. But I want you to think of the logic behind it. Now, let's assume for a second. Now, most people in the United States work for very, very small companies, 10 people or less. Now, these are people who are owners like myself, who have everything. And I'll give you, I'm going to admit something, that in the past year, I hardly took any money out of my occupational health testing business. Business has been bad, but I still gave out bonuses, right? Because I'm the mean employer. I'm rotten and no good.
To the bone.
To the bone, absolutely. Yeah. You couldn't get any more rotten than me. I am the most rotten person in the world. And I know I can live without it, and I live without it. The year before that, we had a horrible year. And I'll tell you what my gross income from that company was. $3,000. Gross salary.
Wow.
I started that business 23 years ago. And I suffered day and night. And I know when you take money out and when you don't. And yet, no one suffered. No one knew I never took any money out of that business. And I'm saying this on the air. And if they don't believe me, they can come over. I'll show them my books. Right? My point being is that many people work for people like me that have small businesses, and they have to pay. Now, I don't pay $7.25 an hour. I pay $15 to $25 an hour, depending on the job and whatever. So I don't have that problem. But my point being is that when the company is not making it, right, why doesn't the employer get $7.25 an hour? I mean, if it's mandatory that the person working get $27.25 an hour, what about the person who has created the job? That's a step above that. Why doesn't the government guarantee, say, if you go into business, I will guarantee you not $7.25 an hour, because you're taking the risk. You're the guy working the 80 or 90 hours a week. You know, we're going to guarantee you $10 an hour for doing this.
Makes logical sense.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I don't want the government to do that. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying that we always think of employee subjugated down here, employer up here making millions of dollars, going to Florida every other weekend, on their yacht, But we never talk about the vast majority of those people who are employers who are just not hacking it. And they're not guaranteed a wage. Now, why aren't they guaranteeing the wage when they're doing the work for the government? Because without them, the government wouldn't have any tax revenue. Now, that's, to me, is insanity.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's a good idea. You're proposing that we, business people, can get an exact income guaranteed by the government?
Absolutely.
After all expenses, we can actually take a paycheck home.
Absolutely. Why? I mean, if you
why not?
Yeah, it makes logical sense.
If the government,
Joe, let's write the bill.
It makes.
I'm for
sense.
it. I'm for it.
Well, except for you, you're a zombie. You don't get anything.
What do those zombies do with bonuses when you give them? You said you have zombies. What do they do with the bonuses?
I don't know. I think they buy some. What they do is they go to the supermarket and they get some rotten chopped meat. Eat that.
I just eat mine.
Folks, don't ever hire a zombie. It's not worth it. I'd rather pay $7.45 an hour. Listen. No, you understand what I'm saying. So I don't want to drop this minimum wage crap. I mean, it's stupid. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no. When a person comes in, the person who's responsible for their minimum wage is the person themselves. When they're going to school and they're goofing off, not learning anything, not giving a damn, right? And they say, well, someday I have to go out and get a job. They have to say, well, if I screw up, don't get an education, have no trade, have no skills, have no social skills, I have nothing. When I go for a job, they will not pay me more than minimum wage. I should do something about that. But the government says, no, don't do anything about it. We will guarantee you a wage. Fail. We want you to fail because we want you to be obedient to the state. We want you to be a subject to the state. And when are we going to wake up to that?
Yeah,
It's bad for them. It's bad for us. It's bad for the entire nation. And it just pisses me off. And I hear all this crap, from the likes of, Feinstein and those people. Well, all of them. I mean, all of them. Everyone. Republican, Democrat, goofball and all. I tell you, Goofy's starting to look smart to me.
I think I know who you're talking about, Goofy.
Hey, I saw, now listen, I saw this myself. I heard at that Obama, during the G8 conference, got up and gave a speech. Did you see that?
I heard that.
I heard about it. I did not hear the speech.
I had to get a copy of this.
Is it true?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, man.
No, I tell you, this is what happened. He was talking about freedom, about the privacy and protection of personal this and that. And, I mean, the audience is looking at him saying, what?
What are you talking about here?
Who is this guy, And I'm not kidding you. I didn't know how many people were in the audience. And I did a quick scan. And let me guess them, about 50 people. That's a guesstimate, about 50 people in the audience, okay? And he finished. After he finished, there wasn't applause. There was a hesitation. Then you heard in the back, not even the front, the back. three claps, and then the guy realized, oh my God, I'm clapping, and he stopped.
And nobody else would clap.
And then the place was dead, and he stood there. I said, what a slime ball. The guy got it. He finally got it. People, when are we going to wake up? Unbelievable. By the way, the second half of this. By the way, you won't have to put up with me all hour, because we have with us in the second half of our program, we have Nick Drenaeus. He is a director of policy development and constitutional government at the Goldwater Institute. We'll be talking about Article 5 of the Constitution, and it's going to be really interesting. We're talking about a balanced budget amendment for the federal government. So stay with us. But we have a break now. All right, let's go to break, folks. Don't go away. I know you are. Come back. Two of my favorite stores really are our sponsors, the Green Beetle. I love that store. People
it's a great store, yeah.
People ask, well, how do you go about starting to, prepare for yourself just to have something on the side? In fact, a gal at Starbucks, she's 19 years old. She's a speech pathologist. She's going to speak to my wife because my wife's an audiologist, and I've seen her there before. And she actually listens to the program once in a while, I believe. Anyway. And she said, let me ask you a question. She said, I'm young. She says, what should I do for the future? It looks like things, from what you say and whatever. I said, well, you have to buy things of value, And I said, just go to for example, go to the Green Beetle. I mean, you don't have to go out there and buy $10,000 worth of something.
No, yeah.
You can walk it. This is what I do. I walked a couple of weeks ago. I walked in and I bought a couple of cans of I forgot what the freeze dried food. I forgot which one I bought, but I bought that.
Freeze dried Oreos.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I didn't want to say that. Oh, I tell you, folks who want to know something, I really hate everyone here.
I know he does. But he'd like to get rid of us, but nobody'd work for him.
Yeah. If it wasn't for people who hated me, no one would be around me. But seriously, but I do that, and it's nice. So you don't have to go in there. I say, just buy something of value, something that you have. I don't care if it's food, water, collecting nickels, coin, anything of value, something that someone can't take away because you have it in your possession. I mean, unless they steal it, But and she understood that, and I said, don't worry about just spending $20. Spend $20, buy a can of something, especially if it's on sale. Go there. Go to Green Beetle. Walk around. It's a great store. I wish I was a knife guy. Yeah, it makes me want to be a knife guy.
You already seen the knife.
guy.
You already seen the
Yeah,
knife I bought my grandson there?
Yeah.
That is sweet. It was only $25. It's the best knife for camping I've ever seen. It had 2 blades, one for cutting bark off branches on one side. Then it had a serrated edge, and then that regular tip and everything is strong. Oh, they got good stuff.
Well, and they're very knowledgeable too.
They know their stuff.
They know their stuff, and they don't make you feel stupid.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a little axe. It's a hatchet. Hatchet. An old-fashioned, like an Indian hatchet, because we're buying some property, and I buy one of those depths. Expensive, but they're beautiful. Anyway, but and the same thing. And then I go to our other friends over there, McCool's Firearms. A neat place. I go there. I take Dave's time up for about an hour.
We go just to talk to Dave.
Well, every once in a while, Larry's sister's there.
That's
who I go. That's who I go to speak to.
He's always wanting to go by there.
Yeah, let's go collect. Let me see if let's get our ledges straight. I love going anyway, but you should really support those people who support this program. Please do that. Please, we have to support each other. We're a small community, folks. If we don't do it, nobody will.
Hey, Joe, I know you're getting on to the next subject, but before you do, I really want to encourage people to get the app. We've got almost 1,000 people now have downloaded your app.
That's cool.
That means they're listening to your internet program, not the one that we're listening to right now if you're listening.
Well, how come this is not on the app?
Well, we'll get there, Joe.
What are you waiting on?
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Zombie time.
He's Italian. He thinks Rome was built in a day. Can you believe that?
Listen, already you know they're all worried about me. All the other talk show hosts, you know that.
Oh yeah, they're shaking.
Yeah, they are shaking. They are. All right.
I don't know why you're not on 3 hours on Sunday afternoon, but we won't go there.
No, wait. I would be on. No, I would be on during the week. You know the story there.
Yeah,
I'm not on there because people are afraid of me. They're just afraid of me.
That's right.
But you need to be honest.
Intimidate
people, folks, Joe. I'm being honest with you. I'm not going to give names. People are afraid of me. They're thinking I'm going to say something wrong. I never swear, curse, or anything like that. Or use names.
Joe, you just did.
I never do that.
You just did. You said it a minute ago.
When?
Just a few minutes ago, you said a cuss word on air.
I did?
But don't worry, the kids are in bed already.
But
let me suck it back.
I think all the kids are in bed by now.
But if people disagree with you, you're always very, very courteous to them. You're never...
they can call and just ask anything they want. Joe's going to be good to them.
I mean, they wind up dead in the alleyway, but that's another story.
That's your uncle, good boy.
No, but I do. I don't want people calling, oh, Joe, I agree with you. Well, thank you very much. I mean, I appreciate that, but
you want some
that doesn't help me. All right, listen, I want to put to bed the situation with Crimea and Ukraine.
Oh, God.
Please. I can't stand it anymore.
Here we go.
I can't stand it anymore. Folks, after this, you need not listen to anything, okay? All right. Understand that what we are attempting to do here in the United States is image Russia as the old Soviet Union. Ain't the same beast. It's not the same thing. You have to understand that we have now spent over $400 billion. Now, let me say this again. Over $400 billion, and it will tap. Now, if the government says $400 billion, it's like $800 billion. All right, that's almost $500 billion, with a T, $1 trillion, on the F-35 fighter jet. That is more money than we've spent on the entire space program. Now, the jet's still not as perfectly operational, believe it or not. But we are building these things, and apparently these things are so advanced, they're like outer space stuff.
Yeah, they can go to Mars or something.
My point being is that we have a military that is so incredibly strong. I mean, bankrupt, but strong. We have aircraft carriers, and we're building 3 Gerald R. Ford class carriers at the cost of, and we don't know yet.
We're building new ones.
Originally $20 billion. They say over $50 billion, maybe $100 billion each carrier. Right. 5,000 soldiers, sailors on each one. Now these things are remarkable. We should not be worrying about a hot war. We should be worrying about 2 things. Cyber war, and that could be happening from some guy with a laptop in Antarctica sitting in a shed somewhere, can take something down, number one. But most importantly, and what will happen, it's guaranteed to happen because of the trajectory that we are on now, is that we should worry about a currency war. I want you to read Jim Ricketts. Jim Ricketts is the quintessential expert on currency. All right. In fact, Jim Ricketts is the guy that when they have war games, when the government has war games, Jim Ricketts is the guy who comes in and does the currency part of the war games. I mean, that's how good the government. He's hired by the government, and he tells it all. We are going to have a currency war, and that will bring down this nation. And it's not going to be a hot war. First of all, Russia is not the same as the Soviet Union. Secondly, the former Soviet Union, the countries of Eastern Europe, which were former satellites, are now part of NATO. And should Russia move in, they will coalesce, and collectively they would have as much firepower, if not more firepower, than the Soviet Union itself. At least more high-tech firepower. It's not even the same ball game. But what we want to do is we want to vilify Russia to a point and put the scare in us so that we can send more troops and whatever over there. We sent $1 billion to Ukraine. Right. First of all, we put in the puppet government in Ukraine, number one. Let's not even go there. But $1 billion, there's 317 billion people in the United States, round figure. That means it's $3 and something cents per person. A man, woman, child, infant, retired person, nursing home person, everybody, okay, that we sent over there. I did not want to send a damn dime to Ukraine. Not a damn dime. Now, if you take the people who are working, you're only talking about, 30% of those people. The people who are actually working, because you have retired people, whatever, sick people, kids, mothers, and whatever. Right? So you're talking about $10 a person. They took $10 out of my pocket, sent to Ukraine. They never asked me. I would have said, hell no, give me my $10 back. And that's the problem we have now, is that we think this thing in Ukraine is a big problem with Russia encroaching. Russia may be encroaching. Putin is not an angel. You know, he's doing what's best for his country. And those countries are on the border. And he needs that port of the Black Sea, which is off of Crimea. Now, look, please, I want you to take a map. Look at a map of Eastern Europe, of that area, and look at it. And tell me why we should be sticking our nose in that place. And if Russia does take over Ukraine and they won't take over Latvia, and they talk about Latvia and those countries, other European. It's not going to happen. They're part of NATO.
Joe, these guys are crazy trying to get in a war with Russia. The first thing that Russia would do if you declared war on them was they would get rid of all of their treasuries. That would just kill us.
That's a currency war.
Currency war. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. There's absolutely no. I wish they would. But you know what? The news has got to say something. Now, the news never talks about all of the riots, the millions of people taken to the streets in all of the cities, the major cities
of Europe.
Of Europe. And the problems they have. Oh, no. But you know what? We'll look for, where's the airplane that went down? One friggin' airplane. Now, I know it's an airplane, so important people
200 people. Yeah, but that's fine.
The airplane's gone. But we spend 90% of the time there, no time on what's really happening, and then whatever little time, we have to throw in the Ukraine and how bad Russia is. I think it stinks. And, you know, the way Obama was treated at the G8 conference, which they want to make the G7 conference now, and I don't blame them, you know. That's exactly, that mirrors exactly what I'm saying. It's
crazy.
Boy, you know, we got to stop this. USA, all this stupid, dumb stuff. Because we're stupid. You know, in fact, the minimum wage should be $1 a day. Zombies. Most of the people out there are zombies anyway. You know, and Mary, if you disagree, 855-866-1170. 855-866-1170. I want to hear from you. You know, Nancy Mace, she's running for Senate against Lindsey Graham's seat, and she was on the Peter Schiff show. You know?
Oh, really?
Peter Schiff, he's my man, you know? And
where's she come from? What's her deal?
I don't know. I don't know much about her.
Okay.
I don't know much other than that. Well, he asked her questions, you know, about different subjects. Guess what? She hemmed and hawed about each one. Well, maybe. Well, I don't know. Well, probably so. Well,
more of the same, then.
Oh, my God. Instead of saying, are you kidding me? That's dumb. Absolutely not. We're going to kill that sucker. No, she waffled on it. She waffled before she's even a candidate. She's waffling, you know? And I mean, now, Peter, I have to give this, I tell you, he has a lot better patience than I do. He stood there and didn't say a word. I would have been screaming, you know? And not really, but I mean, I would have been a little bit more aggressive. He was really very, very polite to her, and he let her go. But it was clear. It was clear that this woman did not have a clue of what was going on. Not a clue, you know? And, all right, are we ready for our hard break? We're going to take our hard break. When we come back, we're going to have Nick is going to come in and speak to us. It's going to be a real great conversation. Don't go away. Please stay with us. Okay, folks, we're back.
Hey, Joe, before we take our guests on, I think have they called in yet?
No, he hasn't called in.
No,
well,
he
if they
said
haven't called
he
in
hasn't
yet,
on the phone yet.
I got a little bone to pick on, the advertisers. You missed a very important
You sure did.
major advertiser.
And boy, you're going to be in the hot seat now, Joe.
Ranch Acres.
Audiology. Oh, my
Well,
gosh.
hey, that is the place.
You're getting the rave from the other
we went to a seminar the other day. They did a free seminar, lunch and learn seminar.
That's right, yeah.
And the food is absolutely great. And Erin, she could have been a public speaker. I really enjoyed that.
She's
good.
Yeah. Yep.
She's good. You got a good gal there.
Yeah,
she knows how to present her. She's a teaching session, but it was very good. Very good.
Yeah, that was the one at First Watch, right?
First Watch.
Yeah,
we do
has,
that
every
every 6 weeks. We do that.
Yeah,
and it's a free lunch, and you learn all about the advancements in hearing aids and all the different advancements and even surgeries and things that are going on.
Oh, yeah, and there's no obligation. Believe me, there's no pressure. I know I've been to several of them. I don't go to every one of them now, but I used to go every one of them with Erin, and I helped her out setting that whole thing up. And the people love them. I mean, they go there.
Hey,
and,
if it wasn't for Erin, we wouldn't have this show.
You
know that?
Right.
It took us a while to get it going. And you know what? Everybody out there that has maybe even just a thought that they might have a hearing problem or a spouse that has a hearing problem, they really ought to go in and get an appointment with Erin.
Well, the problem is that
thank her. Just go there and thank her.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you very much. She's in the next room. She's clapping.
She's blushing.
Well, turning red.
The big problem in this town is there's a saying in this town in the hearing community that every third person is an audiologist. Yeah, I mean, it's a joke,
yeah, there's a lot of them
because there's so many. In fact, this is one of the heavier populated hearing specialists, per population,
per capita
in the nation, and it's very difficult. And yet, my wife has survived only because people, when they go to her, they don't go anyplace else.
They just like her. She's very likable.
And she's the most unpushy person in the world. I mean, she spends time. She's home late every night, but she says she's in the office. Maybe she has a boyfriend. I don't know.
Doubt it.
I got the dirty look.
No.
Hey, our guest hasn't called in, and
do you have a number? I can call him.
Oh yeah, let's see. Wow, I don't know why.
Let's just give his number out on the air.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, but maybe Eric can grab it and I'll call him.
Aaron, why don't you grab the number? Let's hold on a second. Here's all the stuff.
Tim, you haven't said a peep over there. Why don't you share with us a little something?
I want to rant about something.
Oh, you got more ranting?
I know I haven't done enough ranting.
Rant number 3.
We're supposed to help him out with his voice, and he's going to rant.
Yeah, let's what is
it you're going to say? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we're
you interested in hearing me rant?
No,
we
not
don't really.
No, but we're going to hear you.
Yeah, see, this is.
You're the boss. We're the clowns, right?
Yeah, this is what
zombies. Remember?
Zombies.
All right, but I hate one expression. No, I hate most expressions. All right, there's very few expressions I give a damn about, but this is one expression I can't stand. I can't stomach because it's one of those things that they say enough, and it's this indoctrination in our kids.
All right, I'm on the edge of my seat already.
Oh, yeah.
You better be. You're lucky you have a seat.
Yeah, I love you too.
And that is the most difficult job in the world is being president of the United States. I hate that expression. Every time I hear that, my Italian blood boils, I go into Italian convulsions and everything. When you think about, just like the minimum wage situation, like every other problem we have here, they construct these problems, these barriers that don't exist. The easiest job in the world is the president of the United States. Think about it. Look at the Constitution. What does the president of the United States have the power to do? Nothing, other than keep a check on Congress. That's the only.
Keep a check on Congress.
Keep a
Well,
check
wait
on
a minute, Joe. Now that's going to be, and now in this day and age, that's going to be a pretty tough job.
Wait a minute. No, no. Oh, no. But all they have to do is Congress comes up with something. He looks at it. He says, "This is unconstitutional." No, it's dead. Period.
Right.
You know, he goes back to having his coffee, playing with the crossword puzzles. Right. They say, "What about all the tensions around the world?" Well,
he's not.
How
supposed to
about
be
this? I
involved
know
in
Gerald
that.
Celente, my man, Gerald. Do you know Gerald Celente and I lived on the same block?
You're kidding.
Yeah, he was talking the other day. I was listening to him, and he said he lived on Hone Avenue. I lived on Hone Avenue for a while. I got to call him.
We need to get him on the radio.
Yeah, he doesn't, I called him. He said he doesn't do it on weekends. He doesn't do weekends. That's why. I already called. I spoke to him. Yeah. I spoke to his office, not him. And but anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I forgot what I was saying.
Joe
The president's a very hard job, but
job.
not really.
And when you
Keep a check on the president and the Congress.
Yeah, it's the easiest job in the world because really they have no power to do nothing. Oh, like Gerald Celente says, no foreign entanglements, right? I mean, Crimea, not my problem. Mexico, not my problem. Canada, China, not our problem. And that's why we should have a Department of Defense. In other words, internal, and that Department of Defense includes weapons to every man, woman, and child in this country.
So why is he making it our problem?
Oh, because he's not the president. You see, he's not in control. You see, we lost control of this country when we sold the. Listen, the Rothschilds have it right. I care not who controls the military. You know, just give me control of the currency or something like that.
Right.
They just give me the control of the currency. I will control the nation. The Rothschilds control this nation. Not Obama. Obama's not, he's not even a figurehead. When they say figurehead, they throw up. I mean, come on. Let's be real, right? Now, you say, well, Joe, if the President of the United States is not the most important job in this country and the most difficult job in this country, what is?
I think I know.
All right.
What is
I'm going to hold it.
You want to guess first? Or you
I
want
want
to
to guess.
Let's guess.
You want to
Gary.
guess?
Let's hear your guess.
I'd say being a mom.
Absolutely. I'm banging on the table.
All right.
Yeah.
I got it right.
Bang it on.
I thought I had it right.
He may not be a zombie. I may have to pay him $7.25 an hour.
You got an upgrade.
I got
Congratulations.
an upgrade, boys. I got an upgrade. No, I agree, though, Joe. Seriously, that is a tough, dumb job.
But that's the most important job. What you're doing is you're molding the minds and the future of the next generation, not so much of this country, of this child who makes a part of the next generation. That is the most. And what have they done? They've placed they've placed the job of being a mom as almost a subhuman activity. Like if you are a housewife, you are some Neanderthal. But when you think about it, what does a mom do? A mom is a finance manager, home economics manager. You know, they are a manager of everything. Everything goes on. In fact, anybody who says, well, I'm a CEO of some company, that's weenie crap compared to being a mom. You know, because you are not directly responsible for those people working for you. You have a supervisor, and you hire, you fire. That's nothing. I've been there.
Hey,
you
know what? You got these kids, and you're stuck with them, and you
That's
got to
right.
make them right.
You have to make them right because they're yours,
That's
and
right.
you are responsible for their education, not the state. There should be no state education, no state schoolhouses, unless locally you construct one. People put their kids in there, learn some mathematics and stuff like that you may not understand, and then they come back home to be raised by their parents.
Joe, there's a good movie coming out. I was able to review it before it's actually coming out in May. I was invited to preview it, and I took my daughter, 2 free tickets, and it's called Mom's Night Out. And it's a faith-based movie, but it's the actress that's on that middle, and she used to be the wife of Raymond. Who's that actress? I can't remember her name, but she's really funny. She was in there. Anyway, it's about these 2 younger women that go out for the night, and their husbands get left with the kids. And, it's hilarious. It's absolutely crazy funny. But it has some great lines in there. And that guy that played Rudy, and he also was the little dwarf in the Lord of the Rings, he plays in it, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's in there. But anyway, he says his wife was saying, after all of it, went down, and he said, honey, I was really thinking something about you. And she says, that I work really hard. He says, no, that your work is really important. And I thought that was just a great line.
That is a great line.
Isn't that a great line
That's
from her?
a true line.
It's an important line.
It's true. You know, and it
you got to
takes,
see that movie.
takes
It's
all
coming
the
out
politics
Mother's
out of
Day.
it.
Mother's Day, folks.
It's reality. Now, I heard a woman say this the other day. I want to give credits. I just don't remember because I read so many articles constantly. I'm constantly running on the run. And she said that contrary to what the way we are led to believe, women that have children really would like to raise the children. Now, I'm sure there's ones that don't. They don't care.
Yeah, they're irresponsible, yeah.
But really, you don't have children and don't want to raise them. You don't have children and not want to be with them. You don't want to have children, go to work, and then give them to somebody else to raise. You know what? That is so wrong and so unnatural. Every time. Now, my sons, their wives do that. They have important jobs with the state, you know, or the important jobs with this country. And this important job with the EPA. What crap. I don't care if they have PhDs in some technical. It's nothing. Nothing compared to raising those kids. And the kids, bonkers. The kids are getting no family. There's no family anymore. And someone said, now you say, well, you're a subjugating woman. No, I'm not. I'm saying that is a more important job than being the CEO of General Motors. I'm saying that's more important. In fact, what I'm doing is I'm dissing the CEOs. Understand that, folks. So don't send me the stupid email saying, oh, you subjugating woman. No. It's the most difficult and most important job in the world is raising children. And we have to get back to that.
Do we have our guests?
Yeah, we don't have our guest yet, but we do have Lloyd from Henrietta.
All
Lloyd,
right.
Lloyd, tell me where I'm wrong.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong on that, Joe. I mean, that would be unpolitic there on many levels.
Okay. Thank you for sparing me.
Will you tell us, though, that you agree that women are important? Amen.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that.
Your wife might be listening. You better say that.
Well, we probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Hey, there you go.
Okay, well, I wanted to talk to Joe and rest his voice for just a second.
Sure.
But I want to get a response also. You were supposed to talk with this Nick guy on the 5th article of the Constitution.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it was, right?
Article 5, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And, of course, that's on putting in amendments and such to the Constitution and the method to do so. And I'm just wondering, since we have, Basic Bill of Rights, which they did get through, finally, after the founding of the United States Constitution. But the Patriot Act went and nullified the 4th Amendment that was added, and of course, the NDAA got rid of the 6th and the 8th Amendment, and the state secrets privilege got rid of the 5th Amendment. Do you see any prospect of a new amendment having any effect?
I see a revolution that's going to take place over a long period of time, starting from the ground level, from communities, small communities within the state, Lloyd. And I don't mean something big. I mean there's going to be communities that are saying, hell no, we're not doing this. And they're going to cause a lot of trouble. And they're going to be considered renegades. And eventually, people will get into office in these small communities. They will be going to their state Congress and their state, the state Senate. And they will start saying, hey, this is wrong. It's going to take a long time. Now, I wanted to speak to Nick today. Is he's still not on wire, but I wanted to speak to Nick. I don't know what happened to him, but because he was talking about each state getting together and proposing that the getting 2/3 of the legislature to participate in getting the government back on track, all right, financially. Now, that's going to be a long haul, but it's a step in the right direction. It's a direction. All I'm saying, I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it's a direction. I really wanted to hear more about that. And I think most of that's going to happen.
Now, is he from out of state?
Nick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he might be a time zone thing.
I know. When I told him, I spoke to his agent and all that stuff and all that garbage.
Got mixed up on a time zone.
All right, Lloyd, did I answer your question or did I just biggle-baggle?
No, you can ask. Well, I mean, I just, just seeing what our Congress doesn't respect most of our other amendments, and it just, of course, I'm the eternal pessimist in a sense, because I look at certain, like, it's supposed to be like right now 42 legislatures with bills, to give the rights of states, to nullify certain acts that the federal government does, and I don't know how far they will go. But and then there's people going out there saying, they want to have a new constitutional convention, and I'm not sure that until people are actually changed at their heart and that there's going to be anything.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. And, and then I go back to maybe mom should stay at home. Maybe, everything's got to get smaller. We have to have smaller units and everything instead of getting larger and everyone going to big institutions where the state, indoctrinates people. We have to break everything up.
Localism.
Everything's got to eat local. Not that that's important. I mean, but
everything local. We should try to do it. Yeah.
But just try to do local
because you can control that a little better.
Well, Joe, I have one suggestion, and I've suggested it before. If you want to get government smaller and reduce its power, there's one way of doing it, and that's get to a different monetary system, eliminating the Federal Reserve. Because every agency that puts out all of these different regulations that all the people complain about, all these wars, all of our intervention overseas, all of the great big spending could never happen if it wasn't for our Federal Reserve fiat.
I agree with you 100%, and that's what's happening. I think it's going to happen. I read Jim Ricketts' last book, and his new book is coming out next month, and I'm gonna get that. And I think that will happen once we have a currency crisis, war, whatever you want to call it, collapse, and we're going to have another monetary system. We're on the brink of that right now. Lloyd, we have other people on the line we have to take to. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for your call.
Alrighty.
All right, take care. Okay, you want to press the button on two?
You got it.
Hello.
Hey, is that Ted? Ted from Tulsa. Yes, Ted. What's on your mind?
Joe, I just want to commend you on that excellent commentary about the family.
Thank you.
That is something. Let me tell you what you just said about the importance of parents in raising kids and how the society benefits from those kids being raised right is like getting a good rainstorm on the panhandle of Oklahoma. It's rare.
Yeah, you don't hear that much anymore, do you?
No, you don't. But I mean, that is such a basic fundamental. We can talk about the Federal Reserve, wars, Republican versus Democrat, but what you said is first principle stuff. And we need to hear that much more. And I'm glad to see a libertarian mention that because it's a very important issue. I mean, if you've got, years ago at my mother's funeral, I told people, I said, the most important thing you will ever do is raise kids if you have them. I don't have any. I'm not married. But I said, I credit my mother because I think I turned out pretty well, and here I am, and the same goes for my father. But the importance of families as a fundamental building block of society. G.K. Chesterton, the British philosopher, a contemporary of Will Rogers, spoke about the most important unit in society is not the state, it's the family.
Right.
The family, and that's why you don't want the government to run your kids' lives like that awful woman on MSNBC, whose name I can't remember offhand. Oh,
Madcow?
Not
Rachel?
Madcow. No. This one I think is actually worse than Madcow. She has 3 names, and she made fun of the fact that the Romneys adopted a black child. I mean, one of the Romneys did. That woman. Oh. She said that a year ago, she said that we have this idea that your kid is your kid, and she said what we really need to do is teach people that their kid is actually our kid.
I saw that.
Yes. That was in fight.
No. That was she's an African American woman that. And I don't remember her name either.
Melissa Harris Perry.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And I pointed out to, in fact, I spoke at Oberlin College last December. I talked to the one conservative on the faculty at Oberlin at the time, which is a liberal arts school in Ohio. And I mentioned that to him, and I said to him, you know, the Melissa Harris Perrys of the world want to run your kid, tell your kid how to live, but in their perfect world where they're a member of the nomenclatura, they get to run their kids' lives. You don't. They do.
That's right.
They're a member of the ruling class.
That's right.
Yeah. So bless you for talking about that. Do it more. The families, I mean, we are in trouble more than anything because our kids aren't being raised right, and they're being brought up in broken homes, and we got to get back to fundamental principles, and God bless you for doing it.
Yeah, well, you know, what is it now? 75% of black children are raised without
We heard
a
that
father.
at that conference. That's right.
75%,
and
something like 45% of whites or something like that.
And a number of them are
Maybe.
in jail.
Yeah, and the mothers obviously are either on welfare or they have to go to work. There's no one home for the kids. They may say we have a juvenile delinquency
You know what?
problem.
Let's get
kidding.
it straight. The government sets up policies that destroy family
Absolutely.
units. They do.
Every
I mean,
time.
the handwriting is on the wall. The blood is on their hands and our hands for letting them do it to
Right.
us. We should not allow the government to raise our kids. When it comes to school issues, tell Washington to take a hike back to
Absolutely.
Washington
Absolutely.
and let us take care of our own families and our own neighborhoods and our own.
Ted, are you walking around with a Liberty Talk Radio T-shirt?
Well, no, Joe, I am not.
Why not?
Because I've never been given one.
Well, if you send me a email to comments with an S at libertytalkradio.com, just give me a mailing address, and don't forget your T-shirt size. I'll send you a nice T-shirt, okay?
And we're looking at for some other gifts. You may get one of those by then.
Yeah, and remember, I tell you, like all my religious friends, I always tell them I'm an atheist doing God's work. You know what I mean? All right, Ted, thank you very much for calling. Bye-bye now. Folks, we only have a couple of minutes. I have one more rant.
Sure. Well, I guess.
Well, that last one was
we
okay.
had
Well,
to
you
talk
guys
to me.
want to say something?
No,
You
we
guys-
said
you
plenty
guys wanna
tonight.
say
Another
something?
rant by Joe.
No. Well, remember I talked last week. I forget. Some people say, "Dad, Joe, you seem to beat a dead horse." No, I don't beat a dead horse. I exhume the body and beat the hell out of it over again. Then I wait for them to bury it because I uncover it again and do it again. I never stop. Okay.
Amen, brother.
Well, Tom Hartman, he's a nice guy, but he's on Russian TV. But he's a socialist. Now let's be honest, he's sort of a socialist guy. And he's always harping on guns. I hate when he does that. I can't say, I'm a gun guy. I believe everyone should have a gun. I want to have 20 guns on me at one time. Everyone should. All right. And he said that, guns kill children. And he gives this look on the face and, oh, children. And then we're all supposed to cry. Now, wait a minute. Let me give you some statistic real quickly. Governments killed 4 times the number of people that died from all the international and domestic conflicts combined. 4 times. Listen to this. All right? USSR this is after gun control on each one of these countries, all right, where they took the guns away from the citizens. In the USSR from 1917 to 1987, my research, by the way, 61,911 people died, were killed. Right? Because the guns were taken away. Germany, 1933, 1945, 20,496,000. Japan, 1936 and 1945. After guns were taken away, 5,964,000. Western colonization, right? Over 50 million when the guns were taken away from the populace. Cambodia, 1975, 1979, 2,035,000. China, 1949 to 1987, 76,702,000. Turkey, 1908 to 1918, 1,883,000. Vietnam, 1945, 1948, 1,670,000. North Korea, 1,663,000. Poland, 1,005,000. Pakistan, 503,000. We're running out of time. My point being is that take the guns away, the government will kill you.
That's true.
Let's face it, they
fact.
will kill
It's
you.
a fact, Joe.
And this country is no different because we are now doing it to people all over the globe. If they did it to them, they'll do it to us. Folks, this is, I guess it's the end of tonight's program. We'd like to thank our sponsors for their financial support, and we'd like to thank you for listening in. You can support this program. You can support Liberty by recommending this program to your friends, and let us hear from you. Our email address is comments@libertytalkradio.com. This is Joe Cristiano. You've been listening to Liberty Talk Radio. Stay well. Stay tuned.